Guys, it's Kristen.
Angelina.
We are in Heathrow Airport after spending 2 weeks in Italy studying Dante and learning about his life and the Inferno and all that fun stuff. So I guess we're just gonna kind of tell you about if you go to Italy, what you need to see to be able to understand his life and his works fully.
Okay, so when we were in Italy, we went to Florence, and that is the main place that you need to go if you want to find a connection with Dante. We went to where he was born, we went to the church where he met Beatrice, we went to the baptistry where he was baptized, and essentially after his exile is when he had the inspiration to write his Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso.
Florence is beautiful, so you really need to check it out if you get a chance.
It's the best.
It was my favorite city that we stopped at by far.
Yeah.
Okay, so take two because I don't know how to film apparently. So Dante was a political Guelph, and he was a big politician in Florence, but Pope Boniface, also known as Pope Jerkface, Pope Boniface VIII ended up exiling him because he didn't want Dante to have too much power, because he really wanted a republic where the Pope really wanted to have supreme power.
Because he was a white Guelph, and the Pope was actually supporting the black Guelphs during this political strife, and so the Pope kind of set him on his way because he had a little bit too much influence with the white Guelphs.
Dante was the perfect man. He was good looking, he was a chemist, he was a writer.
Soldier.
Yeah, soldier. You'll see a lot of those in Italy if you go.
So during his exile, he went to the Castle Romana and the Castle Poppi, and he spent some time there, and in Castle Romana is where he got his inspiration for Hell. And so the tower where the prisoners were is where he got his inspiration, because the worst crimes were on the bottom and they got all the crap from the top
Quite
parts.
Literally the crap.
Yeah, the top parts of the castle, or the tower. So that's where he got his inspiration. Well, some of it, and also from Greek mythology.
Yeah, so Poppi's really, really beautiful. It's hidden in the Tuscan countryside, and it's very peaceful compared to Rome and Florence, which were the first two places we stopped. And so the tower, the prisoner's tower that Angelina was just talking about, the worst crimes, she said, were at the bottom. So the murderers, the people who just really irritated Count Guidi, who owned the castles and invited Dante to come stay. They were at the bottom, and the prisoners at the top of the tower would quite literally go to the bathroom on the lower levels. So when she says that they got all the crap, she means it quite literally.
Yeah, they got all the crap.
Is it recording? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, we're gonna edit that out. But, so, do you mind, airport? Anyways, so, Dante went to other places besides Poppi. He visited Bologna where he saw the two towers, but do we have any pictures or videos of that?
No.
Yeah, it was really rainy in Bologna, and that's when I caught the plague and went down for the count. So
Yeah, we both have that. It's great.
yeah, everyone on the trip caught the plague, but it's fine.
So, yeah, he visited other places in Italy too, because there were a lot of people who actually really liked his work as a poet in the past.
He just kind of wandered after he was exiled from Florence.
And so, if you don't know, Inferno is about Dante the Pilgrim's journey through hell, and it goes by the layers of the worst sins and the less worse sins, and kind of describes like his own vision through the church of like what kind of punishments they would get related to their sins.
So like the first circle of hell is filled with like people who weren't necessarily bad people, they just lived before the time of Christ, so they were never baptized, which Dante kind of uses like a way to call out like Catholicism and like some of their views, because he was a very religious man and he didn't want to abandon the church, but the church also kind of really screwed him over.
Yeah, so then he starts seeing the church as being corrupt, which I mean
it was at the time.
So then he starts kind of questioning the church and their authority and their views on heaven and hell, and starts kind of like creating his own version in these works.
Like he had to start over. Like the first 3 lines of Inferno are really beautiful because he's talking about how he got like midway through the path of our life, which he uses to like get the reader to be able to like place themselves in the story. And it talks about how he was lost in the dark woods and the way, like the path that he knew was lost, which essentially like reflects how he was when he was exiled from Florence. He was exiled and he lost everything. I know we talked a little bit about like with Romeo and Juliet when Romeo gets banished and he's like freaking out, like anything other than banished.
Yeah.
Literally anything other than that, because you lose your family, your friends, everything you've ever known. And the Inferno's kind of like a parallel to him like coming to terms with that and finding his own way to like come to peace with like religion and God and all that fun stuff.
And so his whole journey, you can kind of just travel along his footsteps in Florence and Poppi and Romena. Other parts of Italy have like monuments for Dante.
Oh yeah, he's all over the place. He's like Italy's Shakespeare. Like I didn't realize how big he was until I came to Italy, and he's like
So like if you want to really connect with Dante in a way that you haven't before just by reading, then definitely go to Italy.
Italy's definitely the place
Florence,
to learn about.
for sure.
Definitely Florence. You have to start with Florence. You can't just start somewhere else and work your way backwards.
No.
It doesn't work like that. But
Florence.
start with Florence and then work your way around, just kind of traveling, following his footsteps, and you'll just really be able to get like a deeper sense of connection with like Inferno and what it's all about. So yeah, well,
Thank you.
peace out from London, my dudes.